Something I've learned over the last 12 years of doing this is that we have to be so careful about what we choose to speak over ourselves, what we say out loud. And I used to think, especially when I was, just getting started, I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like, it's so silly. But you come to realize the more that you do this and the more that you work to develop yourself, you realize that this is literally like what we put out, what we say, what we speak over ourselves truly becomes our reality in good ways and in bad ways. There's things that I said as fears over and over and over again that literally became my reality. And so I think that especially if you're just beginning, you can kind of always tell who are the beginners in self-development because they are like saying, you can just tell they haven't worked that muscle of speaking positively. One really easy example is if someone says, if my business takes off, if my launch goes well, if I hit my income goal. And I always stop and I always correct them. I say, no, when your business takes off, when your launch goes well, when you hit your income goal. Because if you say if, you're essentially signaling that you aren't confident in the outcome one way or the other. But when we say when my business takes off, when my launch goes well, we're speaking that confidence. And it's so subtle. That seems like such a nuance. But the more I had discipline and the more I retrained my mind to say and speak positive, successful, abundant things over myself, the more the financial side of my life blossomed. And I'm doing that in other areas of my life now. And it's just, it's just a way to tap into so much abundance by little tiny tweaks, by little tiny differences in the words we say. And so I don't want you to sleep on that, especially if you're just getting started. Start catching and paying attention to the stories you're saying, even in tiny little phrases. They can be very, very revealing.